If your job at a healthcare facility includes disinfecting against viruses, you know prevention is the best medicine. And maintaining healthy spaces starts with a healthy cleaning routine. Grainger's world-class supply chain helps ensure you have the quality products you need when you need them. From disinfectants and cleaning supplies to personal protective equipment, so you can help deliver a clean bill of health. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hobby Quick Hits, delivering that breaking hobby news directly to your earlobes. You want to know those hot drops from the card shop? We've got you covered. With your host, John Newman.
Welcome to episode 200 of Hobby Quick Hits podcast. Today we're going to do a show we do every year, and that's our Major League Baseball prediction show. And we mix in the hobby and that sort of thing in there. But we go over award winners, Cy Young, MVP, Rookie of the Year. We pick division winners, wild card, World Series winner, kind of just I do this every year. I'm a big baseball fan, fantasy league player. Not to be conceited, I probably get more of these right than wrong, or at least I try to. And so, again, we do this show every year. And so it's about that time, right? The season's going to kick off in Tokyo here shortly. And Topps is making two new products just for the event in Tokyo, designed by acclaimed Japanese artist Murakami, been called the Japanese Andy Warhol, very talented gentleman, and designing a couple products for Topps. It's made for Japan, but like most products, right, we'll have them here in the States somehow, some way. So we're going to take a quick little break here, and then we'll be back with the hobby release schedule. And then after that, some hobby news. And then I'll tell you what I think is going to happen in 2025 for the Major League Baseball season.
Okay, now a quick word from our great sponsor, followed by the new product release schedule. Then we'll go around the Hobbyverse to tell you all the latest hobby happenings and news. Then we'll tackle today's topic of discussion.
Hi, this is Pat Hughes, Cubs announcer, coming to you from the Sports Card Shop in beautiful New Buffalo, Michigan. The Gocher family has built an incredible place here for collectors to buy, sell, and trade cards and memorabilia. Be sure to stop by and let them show you around. TheSportsCardShop.com, connecting sports, athletes, the hobby, and collectors around the world.
Hi. This is Alan Pinkett, and I'm here to tell you the Gocher family has done it again. They've just opened up the Sport Card Shop in downtown Valparaiso, Indiana, and it is awesome. If you're a collector, you need to check this place out. Tell them Alan sent you and get a free gift on your first visit.
Let's check out this week's Hobby Wax releases. Take it away, Owen.
Hey guys, so I'm from Sports Card Shop. Let's go over the weekly releases. Starting on the 12th, we have Keepsake Steve McQueen Premier Edition, Panini Prism Basketball Fast Break, Upper Deck Skybox EX 2000 Hockey, Upper Deck DC Annual. Going into the 14th, we have Leaf Vivid Baseball, Panini Court Kings Basketball, Panini Select La Liga Soccer, Yu-Gi-Oh! Maze of the Master. Going into the 19th, we have Panini Donruss Choice Basketball, Top Series 110, Upper Deck Premier Hockey, and then the 21st, we have Leaf Electric Football Hobby and Jumbo, Panini Origins Basketball, Panini Select Baseball, Panini Zenith Football, and last but not least, we have Panini Tristar Autograph Baseball Platinum Edition. That's it, guys. See ya.
Let's go round the Hobbyverse and catch up on this week's hobby news.
And find out All right, let's start with one of the biggest stories for the week, if you will. We heard about Wemby prior to his diagnosis with blood clots. Did a jersey swap with a young man in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. The young man had a obviously kid-sized Wemby jersey, and after the game, Wemby gave him his game-worn jersey and took the young man's kid-sized jersey. It was a nice moment that got a lot of social media momentum. And then a few weeks later, it was noticed that that same jersey Wemby gave this young man was on Golden's auction and wound up selling for $73,000. Bad look, if you ask me, right? He gives a young kid the jersey. I think the kid was 5 years old. And a couple weeks later, I'm sure Dad put it on there. It's also come out now, too, that the young man or the father tried to stop Golden from selling it. He thought it was going to bring more money, then filed a lawsuit, which was not no injunction. So it wound up being sold to a buyer for $73,000. But the optics obviously look terrible, right? I love these stories, but now, are athletes going to see what happened and be reluctant to give something to a young kid or even interact with a young kid or sign for a young kid, right? The athletes of today are different than they used to be, and maybe that even gets worse. And so that's really the sad commentary about the whole story. So, not good there. The baseball season is approaching. It opens up in Tokyo with the Dodgers-Cubs series. Obviously, a good amount of Japanese players on both of those teams. Well, Topps has commissioned famed Japanese artist Murakami, called the Andy Warhol of Japan, to do 2 sets just for the opening day at Tokyo. One will be a wax product, which is very floral based, which is what Murakami's known for, and the other will be a small set with players on both teams, obviously, especially on the Japanese side. So all the spec sheets I saw, they look kind of cool. I'm not a big fan of sometimes how Topps just makes stuff for the sake of making it and a price grab. But I have to say, I do kind of like these products based on what I saw. We'll see. They're made for Japan only, but as we all know, they'll make their way here to the States via shipping. So you still will be able to get it. Bill Walton, rest in peace. Pretty much his whole collection, or a good portion of it, will be for sale in June via Hunt's Auctions. A lot of his game-worn materials and jerseys and awards that he won will be going up for auction in June. Again, that's Hunt Auctions. PSA has updated their app to now be able to scan a card like some other price analytics tools, and it doesn't have to be a PSA graded card. It could be a raw card, and you should get the real-time values of it. You can also list or submit through the app quicker now. There's some other bells and whistles as well. As of right now, I haven't played around with it just yet, but I do plan on seeing what it's all about. If you're old like me, you might remember 1990 Upper Deck and that first auto chase card, right? The Reggie Jackson auto. There were 2,500 cards put into 1990 Upper Deck, which was not short printed, as we all know. So the autograph actually became, because of how much was printed, the autograph became hard to get, hard to pull, right? And I don't know if you knew this, but card number 714, he put in quotes Babe Ruth. And so that is obviously going to cost you a premium. That's basically a 1-to-1, even though there's 2,500. And he also randomly put in quotations Mr. October on some of them, not all of them and not most of them, but on some of them. So those with Mr. October will command a premium, and that number 714, which I believe is going to auction soon, will also command the premium as well. Upper Deck announced the 23 and 11 NASCAR racing team, by the way, owned by a former basketball player named Michael Jordan. You might have heard of him. They've re-upped their agreement and will be carrying 23 and 11 racing memorabilia and autos in their products. And one last current event, really current, the Paul Skeens 1-of-1 Major League debut patch auto is on Fanatics Auctions. And at the time of this recording, there is 13 days left, and it is up to $420,000 to bid. I was asked on Hobby Hotline what I think this card would go for. I said between $800,000 and $1.2 million. So it's little more than halfway to my $800,000 prediction, and there's 13 days left. And here's my prediction: I think either Paul Skeens wins it, spends some money and gets his card, or Bob Nutting, the owner of the Pirates, will spend what he normally spends on the entire Pirates payroll, which is about $1 million bucks.
Shots fired! Shots fired!
Sorry, Pirates fans, had to do it. But maybe Bob Nutting bucks up and spends more on that card than on some of his players and gets it for the Pirates organization. If you remember, when that card was announced, they put a bounty up, which included like season tickets, meet Paul Skeens, sit in the box, a tour of the stadium, batting practice, a whole bunch of stuff, which the puller of the card said, "No, I'll just sell it. Thanks. Not a Pirates fan. Thanks, but no thanks." So you better get your bids in. 13 days left. Almost $500,000. So you got a couple weeks.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, folks, here we go. We do the show, like I said in the intro, every year. Division winners, who makes the wild card, who survives the playoffs, who gets to the World Series, and ultimately who wins the World Series. We'll go over Rookie of the Year winners, Cy Young winners, MVP winners, and throw in some tidbits and different things like that. We'll have obviously a little hobby feel to it as well, but we always have fun with this show. There are no experts, right? But I am a big baseball fan, an active fantasy baseball player for 30 years now, I think, something along those lines. So I have some working knowledge, right? And so we'll go through these, and I like to look back at the end of the year and see what I got wrong and what I got right. And so let's start off. We'll bounce from each division in each league. So we'll start off picking AL East, the winner of the division. Then I'll go to the NL East, the Central, and we'll go back and forth. So, I hate to do it, but AL East, I think the Yankees, even with the loss of Soto to my Mets, I think they still got plenty of firepower, fairly good pitching. That's a tough division. You got the Red Sox up and coming. The Orioles, obviously, always, right now with that young nucleus, always contending. I'm going to take the Yankees for the AL East. They come out of there after tough battles inside that division. Let's go to the NL East. And, everyone, a lot of you know I'm a Mets fan. I'm not going to make the homer pick here is for division winner. I think Philly's still the class, even with Soto. I think the Mets pitching, unless something changes from the time of recording, the Phillies have a better pitching staff, and I think that's what gets them the division. So I think the Phillies win the NL East. The Mets are right there. I think the Braves kind of take a step back this year, losing Max Fried, and they'll be good. I just don't think they're going to contend for the division. And the Marlins are still the Marlins. So that's where I see the NL East. Let's go back to the AL Central. Again, another tough division. I mean, all these divisions are tough now, especially when you factor in there's 3 wild card teams. I'm going to go with the team. I know I do this every year, that they're up and coming, but they are. They've been a playoff team now. I think they win this division this year. I think the Kansas City Royals. They filled out their rotation pretty good. Bobby Witt Jr., besides being one of my favorite non-Mets, is a stud and becoming a force in the league. I think the Royals squeak one out, over the Guardians. I almost said what. And I think the White Sox, and they're not going to contend for this division. Don't get me wrong. I think the White Sox are going to improve, and I know that's low-hanging fruit when you have one seasons in baseball. Well, they did in baseball history, but I think they significantly improved. So I'll take the Royals barely over Cleveland. I don't want to say barely, but they'll edge out Cleveland. Let's go to NL Central. This team's got a new manager. I think he's legit. Well, he already is legit. I think he's going to be a difference maker in why this team will win the NL Central. That's Terry Francona in the Cincinnati Reds. He's been there before. He's back, and he still can manage. And that team has made some offseason acquisitions. Gavin Lux. I think Nick Lodolo steps his game up. Their staff's not too bad. I think the Reds win the Central. I think the Cubs are right there. They've made some nice acquisitions as well. They got a nice young third baseman if he wins the job, and Matt Shaw, rookie. We'll talk about him a little bit more later on here. And, I think the Reds come out of the Central. Let's go back to the AL, the American League West. I know this is traditionally Houston's division of recent. But I think the Rangers regained their throne on the AL West. Jacob deGrom looks healthy, and if he's healthy, he's a major difference maker. They've added a couple as well. They're a young team that's now 1 year more experience, so I think that makes the difference. I got Texas, Seattle's in that mix. The A's, much like the Marlins, are the A's. Seattle, I just don't think is there quite yet. I think it's Texas and Houston, with Texas winning the division. Let's go to the NL West. You got your Dodgers, you got your Giants, you got your Padres, and I think those are the three. Really the ones going for it and have the best chance to win it. But the Dodgers signed everything that moved, including Roki Sasaki. Not proven yet in the majors, but everyone wanted him for a reason, right? Shohei now probably more comfortable settling in. He's going to take the mound at some point, maybe May or June. And even without Ohtani taking the mound, this team is just loaded for bear. They kept Teoscar Hernandez, and who I really like in the rating. And I think it's their division to lose, and I think the Dodgers win the NL West. Let's go to the wild cards. Back to the AL. We got 3 teams. Obviously, these teams can't win their division to be a wild card. All right, so the 3 teams I got coming out of the wild card or into the wild card in the American League. Baltimore. I think they could easily win the AL East, but I'm going to take them as the wild card here. I think Houston, after anointing Texas, Houston will get one of the wild cards, and I think the third wild card. I was really hemming and hawing between 3 teams: Detroit, Boston, and Cleveland. And I'm going to go with Detroit. They somehow got in last year. A.J. Hinch. Regardless of what happened in Houston, he might be one of the best managers. Boston is going to be improved, and they very very well may be a wild card team. I just think they're too young now. I think their day is coming. So I'm going to go with the experience and the better manager and take Detroit. So Baltimore, Houston, and Detroit fill out the 6 teams that make the playoffs in the American League, along with the Yankees, Royals, and Texas. Let's go to the wild cards in the National League. I know I didn't pick them to win the division, although I hope I'm wrong, but I think my Mets get a wild card. That offensive lineup is just way too good to not get in. I think they're obviously not done making moves. They're gonna do things to enhance that pitching staff. It won't be as bad as it is at the time of this recording. So I'm going to take the Mets. I love what the Cubs did in the offseason. Craig Counsell, the manager, they very well could win the Central. I picked the Reds, but the Cubs are going to get a playoff spot. This one was tough, but I'm going to go with the Padres. I love Schilt, their manager. They too have a pretty decent hitting lineup and some pitching. They lost a few pitching. That's why I didn't pick them for the division. I think they do enough to make the playoffs and get in. So the 6 teams in the National League that make the postseason: Philadelphia, Cincinnati, the Dodgers, the Mets, the Cubs, and the San Diego Padres. Before I go with who comes out of that, let's go to some award winners. Let's start with Cy Young in the AL. 2 guys really stand out to me. Cole Ragans from the Kansas City. I think he gets even better this year. I think the team gets better this year. He's my pick. But the other guy that might challenge him is a guy many have forgotten about because he's been injured of recent years. But I think he's finally getting healthy. He's getting paid regardless of whether healthy or not. But I think he comes back and dominates like he used to, and that's Jacob deGrom of the Texans. So I think it's Ragans and deGrom for AL Cy Young. Let's go to the NL. I think, I picked them to win the division. That's the Phillies, and I think one of the main reasons, obviously, their lineup is stacked, but Zach Wheeler becoming one of the better pitchers in the game, and I think he takes another step up, is dominant. Wish he was still a Met. We could really use him right now, but I think Zach Wheeler wins the Cy Young, but I'm going to put Paul Skeens right there. I think Paul Skeens has a great year. I just think he plays in Pittsburgh. They're not going to win enough games, but he's going to have a pretty good year. But I think it's going to be Zach Wheeler taking down the NL Cy Young. Corbin Burns now in Arizona, very good pitcher. I just don't. Arizona, he's going to win games. He's going to be a Cy Young. He's going to get votes. I just don't think he wins. And the fact that he's kind of changing teams every year now doesn't bode well. So I'm going to go with Zach Wheeler over Paul Skeens for NL Cy Young. Let's go to Rookies of the Year. And this, I will say, for the years I've done these kind of predictions, this year was maybe one of the toughest one, because there's just so many ways you can go. We don't know which guys have definitely won jobs. A lot of years you kind of know that they're given the job. These guys still have to crack the lineup. But in the AL Rookie of the Year, I got 3 candidates, and I'll put them kind of in the order I think they'll finish, if you will. So the Martian, Jasson Dominguez of the Yankees, I think he wins it. He got a little taste last year, looked pretty good. He's going to be on a veteran team, so I think he's going to win AL Rookie of the Year. I think second will be Jackson Jobe, a great pitcher, young pitcher for the Tigers. And then I don't know how much he's going to play this year, but he's right on the cusp and arguably the number 1 prospect in all of baseball, and that's Roman Anthony of the Boston Red Sox. And, a lot of people buying his cards, Jobe's cards, the Martian. So in that order, Dominguez, Anthony, and Jobe. Now to the National League rookie. Again, I'm going to pick 3 guys. I'm going to kind of pick them in the order I think they finish. And I love this first guy. I got to see him. He didn't play for Syracuse, but I'm a media press pass member, so I get to go to the Syracuse Mets games. They're 2 miles from my house, so I get to go and cover the team. Got to see this guy play here, 5 or 6 games, a couple more than, and everyone knows about him. Number 2 pick in the draft behind Paul. Dylan Cruz, I think he puts a full year together. I think a major league talent right now. I think he's going to get better every year, and he got to play a little bit last year. I think that taste helps him. And so Dylan Cruz, followed by Matt Shaw from the Cubs, their young third base prospect. And Matt Shaw very well could win it too, but I'm going to go with, I think, a guy who I know is going to get probably the playing time. So Dylan Cruz, Matt Shaw, and then Roki Sasaki for the Dodgers. Pitchers don't often win Rookie of the Years. And I think he's going to have his moments, and I think he's going to have his struggling moments too. And I think these 2 hitters, guys that are in the lineup every day, they're going to be seen more and put up bigger numbers. So I'm going to go with Cruz, Shaw, and Sasaki in that order. All right, let's go to MVP. Again, we'll start with the AL. I think I know I collect them as one of a few like modern day guys. I try to pick up cards, but he's legit. I think he's the next Mike Trout type player. And if he can stay healthy, maybe even better when all is said and it's early yet. Putting those accolades on him. Bobby Witt Jr., he's legit 5'2", good dude. He's part of the hobby now and investing in collects, and he's a collector. That has nothing to do with my pick of him as MVP. That has to do with him just being one of the best players in baseball. And I think he makes the Kansas City Royals go. And I think he gets the MVP. I think Aaron Judge is in the mix, but I'm going with Bobby. Let's go to the NL MVP. And Ohtani, the incumbent and reigning MVP. And you might say, well, he's probably going to win again if he adds pitching to kind of what he did last year. Had an incredible year last year. Don't need me to 50-50. Dominant, did stuff never seen in Major League Baseball, ending with a World Series ring after playing for the downtrodden Angels. And Ohtani's going to be very good again, but he's not my pick for MVP. And if I had to go homer at some point during this show, right? Here's my homer call of the show, right? Going Juan Soto. I think Juan Soto has a tremendous year. Juan Soto always has a tremendous year, no matter where he is, right? Great young talent. I think he really, the way the dimensions of Citi Field are, I think he's going to have fun. I think he's going to have, it's a kind of different group of players. I think he has a big year, and he's going to have to, because right now that staff is going to need to run some. I think he gets it done. I think the Mets make the playoffs. I wouldn't be shocked if the Mets somehow won the division, and Juan Soto, really sparked this ball club along with Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso. So Juan Soto over Ohtani for the MVP in the league. So what takeaways before we kind of wrap up today's episode. The league has gotten much younger, right? We're seeing 20-year-olds make the league. We're seeing 20-year-olds produce. Used to be, you get 24, 25, 26 before you made an impact. I think those days are over. Pitchers we've seen kind of their innings limited. That's different the other way, right? But it's a youth movement now in the major leagues, and it's fun to watch. The new rules with the time make the game a little shorter, more consumable, and more stolen bases now because of the bigger bags and some of the rules with the pitch clock and throwing over to first. So it's become a more exciting game between the rules and the young guns, to steal a hockey term here. So it's going to be a fun 2025 as a Mets fan. I'm glad the Wilpon days are in the rearview mirror, and we can try to compete and spend some money, and it's fun to be a Mets fan. So there you go. You can take this to the bank if you want, but don't contact me if I'm wrong. Just kidding. But it's gonna be fun to watch, and I hope your team does well, your players do well. You enjoy the season, you enjoy the hobby. All right, thank you for listening to another episode of Hobby Quick Hits. Want to give out our social media, starting with our website, which is www.sportscardnationpodcast.com. Facebook, you can follow us at www.facebook.com/Sports Card Nation Podcast /. Twitter, we are at Sports Card NATI1, so it's Sports Card NATI1. Instagram at Sports Card Nation Podcast, or you can email the show hobbyquickhits@gmail.com. Again, thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.